Well, hello there, humans of his earthlings, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, and if you're lucky enough indeed to be doing it too. I'm Bushka on Blitz. Welcome back to the channel. Today was pretty amazing. I was doing a live stream this morning, and my wife, my father, and my son turned up here, and they had a huge, big commemorative trophy. The guys, I'll show it on screen right now. The guys, the patrons, put together for me. That's the 105mm shell from a Leopard 1. Polished up, buffed up to within an inch of its life. There's actually about 20% of that is still in the box there. It's enormous, right? And that's the names of some of the wonderful people who were involved, like Katie Light, Eski, Point Blank, JC Ware, all the guys and girls, Serby, everyone who was involved in doing this. It was incredible. And I just wanted to thank you to everyone who's been involved in Patreon and who has been a massive part of getting me to 50,000 subs and to actually making this my life's work, which is incredible for me to be here talking to you guys as a professional. This is what I do for a living. This is kind of nuts. So hat tip to all you guys. I can't thank you enough for all your support and the friendship and the wonderful place that we've built in the Patreon community. We've got 320 people now in the Telegram chat channel. It's absolutely massive. Anyway, I digress. This is the DW2, and I'm going to show you some German steel today. Today we're going to look at the DW2, driven here by our amigo Silent Cougar. Then we're going to have a look at the Tiger P, going through the paces on Oasis Palms, and finish with the Tiger 2, doing the business on the good old Himmelsdorf map. Now, I chose that particularly because I just really wanted to feature this DW2 game. I haven't featured a DW2 game for ages, and I've been getting so many replays lately that I've had to free up space on my Gmail account. Now, when you consider that these replays are like about 600 to 800 kilobytes each, having to free up space on an email account which is full of nothing but replays is a testament to the amount and the volume of stuff that is coming into my inbox. People love the whole featuring on channel, and it's great fun because it allows me to actually do a lot more with my time and talk through the games without having to spend 5 or 6 hours looking for specific games when I know exactly what I want. And the reason I wanted to feature this game is I wanted to do something towards the lower tiers. Now, I always feature the tier 10s, the big numbers and all that kind of stuff. And I've left out tier 10 on purpose from this video because you know what? There are so many videos online of mine with massive big numbers, and they'll be back tomorrow, and they'll be coming back for the rest of time immemorial. But this thing is one of the best and most notorious seal clubbers you can get your hands on. It's got a 160 Alpha 75mm gun. It's got lovely gun handling for its tier. It's really mobile for a tank with this much armor. It can side scrape. It does it all, in fact. And in perfect storms where you've got a bunch of tanks against you that don't have a lot of pen, like this, you can find yourself having amazing games. And this is Silent Cougar's probably the most exciting adrenaline-packed game he's going to have for quite some time. There are 6 red tanks left, but there are quite a few autoloaders, and he is going to play this fairly well. But the DW2 is going to have a lot to say about whether this is a win or a loss. And it's going to say it by basically just being the DW2. Now that Panzer there is really chewing off a lot. It's another tier 4 tank, and it does have the ability to pen the DW2 given the right circumstances, but it's playing into the hands of this big dog by side hugging. Like this 75mm is just absolutely brutal. You cannot take liberties with the 75mm on the DW2. And then you see there, look at that, there's going to be a lot of bounces coming up here, and this is where the DW2 starts to shine. He's now got 4 tanks in front of him, and it's able to really track the enemy very, very effectively because the mobility for a tank this big is phenomenal. Like it's got armor, it's got good traverse, and it's got a gun that none of these guys want to be in front of. Look at the autoloaders. Now the autoloaders at this tier, like the BT7 is obviously not an autoloader, but the A20, your looks, all those kind of things, they rely on tanks with wafer thin armor profiles, like your Panzer 3s, your Panzer 2Gs, all those kind of things. when you run up against a DW2, that is exactly what you're not running up against. You're running up against a tank that is quite capable of both absorbing the punishment and dishing the punishment back out. Now, to give you some perspective on the 160 Alpha 75mm gun, that's the kind of gun that mediums tend to run at tiers 6 and 7. In fact, tier 7 is kind of where it starts to come into its own as the stock standard. That is a 160 Alpha gun versus a tank there with 400 hit points. Put that in perspective. If you're dealing with a tier 10 light tank with, say, 1900 hit points, the ability to hit it 2.5, to get 2.5 rounds into it and kill it, and that's exactly what we're dealing with here. You're talking about the big 150mm TDs. You're talking about tanks like the E100 or the Grill or a T110E3, and yet at this tier, that is the kind of ratio that you're looking at. So when you're running around with a 160 Alpha gun that's not just accurate, but also capable of penning very heavy armor or firing HE into very lightly armored tanks, you're talking about a phenomenal beast. Now, he's got 6 kills. He's got everything. Like this is a 6-kill RAS attempt, and all he has to do now is out DPM that AMX, and he's going to do it. Like 160 Alpha is a brute force instrument at this tier. He can take a lot, and the AMX is just going to sit there and give it to him. Even if he takes another shot, he can still get this done. That fast-firing little pea shooter that the AMX 40 has is not going to do it just sitting there like that. And there's Silent Cougar with an amazing and astonishing come-from-behind 1v6 win, every possible medal in the world. Mastery badge, Top Gun, High Caliber, RAS, Steel Wall, you're looking at a Kolobanovsky, just absolutely mad stuff. Great stuff there. But admittedly, that is tier 4, and you are in a DW2 in a perfect storm. Well, what about this? This is Meva 1984 in the Tiger P, going the flank on Oasis Palms. Now, a lot of going flank is about controlling the map. You can see Meva say never. Oh, God. Stop it, Dad. Is working the numbers over here. The Tiger P has an incredible armor profile. It's one of the best tanks you can get, bar none, at tier 7. In fact, I think it's the strongest tier 7 heavy tank there is in terms of tech tree tanks anyway. And it's got the same gun basically that Tiger 1 over there has, slightly worse soft stats, but not by much. And you can see a tank with this much armor hitting that hard is just ridiculous. And that Cheeto is in all kinds of trouble if he stays there. So the Tiger P angling up. Now, the flank is important. One of the best reasons you go a heavy route like this too is because you are on the far left flank of the map in the northwestern corner. It means that you can't get hit from the left side. So you're capable of angling up to just deal with tanks that are directly in front of you. Now, that is the basic theory of any heavy tank. You want to keep the tanks in front of you. Well, most heavy tanks anyway. Obviously, there are a few that are just not the same, like an AMX 50B, for instance, or an AMX 5100, or even to a lesser extent, a Conqueror, or something like that. They want to be a little bit more crafty about things. The Tiger P, though, is a proper super heavy. It wants tanks in front of it. It wants to know where the incoming shell is going to hit. That way it can angle up effectively, and especially if it's hull down, it can be a brutal out for the entire team. And Meva has been absolutely gifted a rails run here by the red guys who keep pushing up across in front of him without actually pushing right through and making him pay with hit points. And then when they've eventually done it, they've done it in a little bit of a haphazard fashion, and they've been shooting at 2 different targets, both the Tiger 1 here and Meva's Tiger P. And that means that they haven't really effectively focus fired, and they've killed neither while taking a massive walloping themselves. And you can see that T-34-1, one of the best tier 7 tanks that money can buy. I think it's the best medium at tier 7, is absolutely losing hit points at a phenomenal rate. Now, the KV2 has to go. Meva does the right thing. The T-34-1 takes out the Tiger 1 that was behind him, but it's not all over yet. Meva is really using the carcass of the T-34-1's mate as a very, very successful roadblock, and the T-34-1 is realizing that this Tiger P actually has better DPM. And if you muck around like that and you push on a Tiger P in any kind of medium or light tank, you are very likely to get shredded, because the Tiger P has a massive hit point pool. You can see that's a tier 7 IS in front of him, and Meva has 200 more hit points than that tier 7 IS. The T-150's down that pushed across. The MT-25 has taken him out. Meva's pushing in the IS, and he gets a very, very well-deserved win here. This has been stalwart stuff, standard Tiger P work, putting the nasty bits towards the enemy, and them being silly enough to get in front of one of the most effective guns in the game, pound for pound, tier for tier. 4,666 damage. Top gun, high caliber, the good old Radley Walters, and a steel wall. So really nice work there. And you can see right from the get-go, when you look at that, it screams carry. But there were some good performances. The Tiger 1 really did do the right thing there, and he kept the T-34-1 from the other team, H_go, on his toes long enough for Meva to get things done and clear what was in front of him, and then finish off the rest of the meal. Now, this is SWQHI from the Killer Clan. You'll have to excuse me. I think that I left, well, he might have left it out, but I didn't put it away, the actual teams list on either side, so you can't see the mini-map at the top. But rest assured, we've got the good old circular thing going on here on Himmelsdorf. There are 4 heavies on the red team, 1 medium, 1 light, and a TD, and we've got 3 heavies on the green team, 2 mediums, a TD, and a light tank. And they've gone to opposite ends of the spectrum. Apart from the T-44 there, you can see just got eaten up alive. The Tiger 2 is a really interesting tank, and it excels in these kind of situations. It really does do well on Himmelsdorf and maps which are in very, very straight lines. Now, we've lost the 2 mediums, or the medium and the light there, who went over on their lonesome towards the light track, but the IS-3 has decided to punch on through here. And he is a bit of a worry for our hero here, SW, because the IS-3 has a gun called the BL-9. Now, the BL-9 back in the day was one of the most feared weapons in the game, because really it was one of the best tier 8 guns money could buy. A very, very strong 225mm of pen really puts the fear of God into just about anyone, and 400 alpha is a big dose of hatred and angst from that mad Russian gun. Now, it's not very accurate, but it does hurt in up-close knife fighting brawls, and it's a relief for everyone to get that tank out of the game nice and early. The rest of the team is pushed around. You can see the T-28 Proto, and we've finally got the mini-map up. And you can see this is a typical Himmelsdorf schmozzle. There are tanks everywhere. The team is half driven around, half the Reds have gone all the way through, the other couple have pushed back, the IS-3's been left on his own, and it's really working well for the Red guys as opposed to the good guys at the moment, the Green guys, but still, it's in the balance. There are only a couple of tanks down, and that's a number that can be swayed pretty bloody quickly. Great shot in the side of the T-34, and one of the things that the Tiger 2 has going for it is that it's got a quality gun. Even though it's only a 310 average alpha, plenty of pace to that, very, very quick firing, good gun handling, good penetration numbers, really a reliable weapon. It's like a sexier version of the Lerva, in my opinion. And that T-34 has been caught out because he's stuck fighting on 2 fronts. And that's all well and good when you're hull down on a T-34, but it's no good when you're in a situation where you are broadside. Now, their light tank that disappeared a little bit earlier, you might have noted as we came around this corner, has popped back up. Not the light, jeez. The heavy tank that disappeared a little bit earlier, what was I saying, has popped back up. And that's the KV3. Now, this is like, it's a good gun when it's close and if it's got a lot of time to aim, but it ain't the kind of gun you want to be brawling with in this situation. It's vastly inaccurate, and it's the kind of weapon that can let you down in no uncertain terms. Now he gets one in there, but taps into the Tiger too, and really comes a cropper. Great angling here. Great angling. Angle up, amigo. Lovely work, SW. Very, very sweetly done. And we're back to 2 on 2. He's only got 44 hit points left, though, which, if you're new to the game, is not a lot of hit points. And if you're not new to the game, then you know that our amigo right here, just this is tough stickers. This has to go in, and it does. The IS-3 is now a one-shot. The E25 around there. Now, he'd like to push in, but he's in a tough spot. Here we go, one more for all the chocolate rations. Thanks very much. Well done, SWQHI. Good job. A little bit of German steel. I love the German tanks. 4,322 damage. High caliber and a mastery badge. And it gives me great pleasure to be able to check through the emails every morning and actually get some replays from you guys. Make sure if you are sending replays in that you are including the name of the tank, the damage in the subject line, and a screenshot of the results screen. That's really, really important, as you can see here. It lets me give the game some kind of context. I hope you guys enjoyed that. There's lots more coming. Lots more videos coming. So make sure you stick around. Tell your friends. Like the videos. That helps me a lot. If you want to become a patron, the community is pretty awesome. It's thriving. I just met a huge amount of patrons at Tank Fest. We do counting streams, we do all kinds of things as patrons, and there's a great big happening chat vibe going on in Telegram as well. I'm Bushka on Blitz. Look after yourselves, guys, and as always, stay safe on the battlefield. Bye for now.